Hey there, aspiring guitarist. I tried to do this part 2 chord progression, and I'm actually trying to install. Let me show you. I'm working on it. I'm having to get another phantom power supply source because the one I had was broke. So I'm actually working on a condenser mic that I'll be using in the future, and I had set the video software for it, and when I started doing the video for part 2 of the E minor chord progression, I forgot I had it set to that, which I'm waiting on a new phantom power supply source. So I did a whole video with no sound at all. So I tried to get it off the channel as quick as possible, but I apologize if you were one of them that saw it before I got it out of the content. Anyway, E minor chord progressions part 2. Now remember, we had done the E minor and we had gotten to the E minor 7 by just adding to the 3rd fret 2nd string. We had the E minor up here on the 2nd fret with the 5th and the 4th string, and then we made a 7th by just dropping onto the 3rd fret 2nd string. And I told you that I could move just this finger down here on the 2nd string and get another variation of E minor. So what is that? We go from E minor 7, which I showed you, it's right here, to an E minor 6. And the 6 is simply moving this finger up under to the 2nd fret, still on the same 2nd string, or the B string. Now, what you get into that sometimes is, depending on how you're positioning your hand, it's hard to make that transition, and it also depends on how you're fingering the E minor. Are you using 1 and 2 up here, or are you using 2 and 3? Because you're always taught to keep this thumb straight. And that's true. I mean, it does. It keeps you from buzzing and things like that. But a lot of times if you're on this E minor 7 and you try to slide in there to E minor 6, it's almost like trying to make that A chord, you know, where you bunch those 3 fingers together, and then we teach you to do it by separating them like that. In other words, instead of this for an A chord, you do that. So if you've got an E minor 7 here and you've got to get to 6 and you just can't get it to bunch, move your wrist. You can still keep the thumb in line with this, but if you're here and you can't get this finger to move up under there, just simply rock and roll. When you roll toward and slide, you know, you're moving the entire wrist toward the headstock. Well, it'll slide on in there. So sometimes technique's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. It helps you. It keeps strings from buzzing. You'll find that electric guitar strings, which are often lighter than acoustic, will hide some of your mistakes. Now, I know that's arguable by some, but technique keeps you with clarity and ringing true with your chords and progressions. Now that we know that we went from an E minor 7 to an E minor 6, what else can we do in a chord progression? Well, actually, we can do a little bit of everything. We don't even have to look at the circle of fifths, although I want to encourage you to continue to do that. But remember, I told you we're going to talk about anchoring the chord you are at, parts of that chord as you move to another one. So what do I mean by that? Well, okay, here's the E minor 7 again. You've got this going on the 2nd fret. You've got this going on down on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And you know, a lot of guitar instructors, and I disagree with this, and they'll fight me, that's fine, you know, different strokes for different folks. They're always trying to tell you, You know, in fact, I've actually seen some of them. I had it done to me years ago. They'd make a chord, then they would tell you to take your hand off the guitar, touch your knee, and then put it back. Now, there's a place for that. There, like, if I'm making an E minor here and I'm going to jump down with a bar chord A, okay, well, there's nothing I can connect. There's absolutely nothing to anchor to. That's a place where learning to lay a chord down fast, or if I'm going to come from a bar chord down here and jump back to a C open chord cowboy chord, that's the reason you learn to throw a C down by itself. But when you're doing a progression where the chords are near each other and that you can actually move and keep one or two of your fingers that are on the chord you are at and not move them, and then just like, okay, here I am with an E minor 7. Well, if I wanted to make a C, I'm going to raise the ring finger and come up here to the 3rd fret, 5th string, and then I'm going to take the first finger, the index, and go to the 1st fret, 2nd string. But I'm not moving this middle finger. It stayed put the whole time. That's anchoring a chord. And you can learn to do that. In fact, you make your E minor, you make your E minor 7, you make your E minor 6, then you look and you think, where can I go to with another chord that I don't have to lift the chord up off the fretboard? Well, you see real quick that you can move to C. You also see you can come back to the E minor and you can make an A. Now, the way you'd make that A is not that bunched up A like this that we talk about that drives everybody crazy trying to get 3 fingers stuck inside of the 2nd fret. But we split it up. We take the first finger and we go to the G or the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. Then we take the next finger and we go above it on the 4th string or the D string. Then we take the ring finger and we go below it. And now we've made room. So watch me do that and get back to an E minor. All right. So there I am. I've made this A. And all I got to do is lift this up, lift that up, throw it down, and now I have my E minor. So I never moved this one. I never moved it. So if I'm at an A, I just went from E minor to A, then I could very easily transition to a D because I've already got part of the D made here. So let's take these 2 fingers right here away. Well, there's the start of a D chord. And then all I got to do is take the middle finger, drop it down below it on the 1st string in the 2nd fret, and then take the ring finger on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. And I did that while leaving this finger anchored. And you can figure out all kind of ways to anchor chords. And it helps you to play faster. It helps you to understand the unity of chords. As you get deeper and deeper into this and start learning how chords are made from scales, and you'll learn things like what note in the scale, is it a minor 6? Don't let that confuse you. But learning, and remember I said this a long time ago, one of the things that I didn't get in the very few guitar lessons I got was being taught that chords can be made in different ways. So I'm not a big fan. I'm not saying it's not a bad idea to just have your instructor go, okay, form a C chord, and you go straight to a C, an open C. But transitioning from a C to an E minor and being told while you're at the C to take your hand off and then put it back, I don't buy that. You're already halfway there. The C to get to E minor is just a matter of moving, taking a finger off and putting a finger down. So that's anchoring chords. Okay, so think of ways that when you're at a chord, when you're doing a chord progression, when you pull out the circle of fifths, and know that if you're in a C, there's an F, a G, an A minor, and on, and the things we've talked about with that are depending on what key you're in. Think about how you can move to another chord. It's efficient. It breeds good technique. It allows you to play and make chord changes faster because you're already there. You're halfway there. Sometimes you're a third of the way there. Sometimes you're 2/3 of the way there. So that's going to play in to helping you not get frustrated. So I want you to practice your chord progressions, and we're going to have some more videos on that where we keep doing things like that. And I'm also going to have some videos just to change gears a little bit here, talking about us older guitarists like myself, because my YouTube channel analytics tells me that the majority of my subscribers are older men and women. And you know what? Many of us played guitar in high school. Some of us got pretty good at it. And then some of us had life get in the way. And I'm not knocking people that are able to play all the time. Maybe you're holding down a job, kids, and still able to play the guitar. I only got to pick the guitar up on the weekends, and then I was running I was in the Air Force and I was running a business. We were homeschooling kids, this, that, and other. But then I had the joy of teaching my sons to play, so I picked it back up then. Then I got the Dupuytren contracture, went 5 years without playing. But a lot of people are in a similar boat to what I went through. They played in high school, they played when they were young, they played in college, they were actually good. And then they went 30 or 40 years without playing. But now you can play again. That's a joy. You've got time. I don't ever want to master this guitar, this blessing from God, because it keeps on giving. Every day I learn something new. So we're going to talk about that too. But try your chord progressions and realize the beauty of chords. Chords, when you move on to triads, all these other things where you hear these people playing beautiful chords up and down the neck, back again to that musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, repeat. You're going to see all this ties together. So chord progressions are important. I hope your guitar journey is blessed. And most of all, remember, happy picking.